you can either sit with that feeling and just accept it and say, okay, I've got this betrayal feeling going on, right or wrong, which has given me a craving. I'm not going to act on it. I'm just going to sit with it. Now, if you're feeling super vulnerable, you may not want to do that. If you're feeling quite strong in your recovery generally, and it's just a blip, you might just want to sit with it for a moment, notice what triggered it off, add it to your list of things that trigger you sometimes. Because sometimes it's just a build-up of things. It's not just one thing. Like I said, mine was a build-up of things. I had all of those things happen to me before and not get that feeling, but it was a build-up of all of them together. So it probably was my stuff, yeah? I'm not perfect. Everyone's got stuff, Doesn't matter how well you are. Everyone's got a bit of stuff still. So I looked at the feeling and, I could have sat with it. But as it was, I was still tired. I was still, feeling ill and moody. And I thought, I can't just sit with it because I'm just getting moody. I'm going to start kicking things. So let's see what I can do instead. So you can do several things. You can do something else. So something distracting. So you could go and do something which you like, instead of just sitting there with it, just accept the feeling and go, okay, I know what that is now, right or wrong, let's go and have a coffee. Okay, so you can do something distracting. Go and, we're in Athens, so we could do anything, so, go and climb the Parthenon, whatever. The second thing you could do is something to soothe yourself, and these are sort of skills like involving the senses usually. So something soothing. So I could have just laid back in the sunshine for a bit and enjoyed the sun, feeling the sun on my face and feeling actually, everything's a bit better in the world. Or you could go and find, where we were, there were loads of like lovely little shops with sort of incense burners and all sorts. Go and soothe yourself by standing in a nice bookshop or an incense shop or something which you really kind of does make your senses sort of go elsewhere and just feels nice. Or you could have had an ice cream and I'd have had to have a sugar-free version. But something like that. Or what you can do is just change the moment, do something to improve it instead. So giving my boyfriend a hug, thinking of the times actually where he'd been very loyal to me, and actually, just give him a hug and whatever else. I'm not going to drink on this. It's just one incident. Don't have to drink on it. Just give him a hug and just say, let's just, let's forget it, do something else. And that can be quite powerful. Now, if you really can't shake it, and you've got this sort of like feeling now, along with the craving, this sort of like lingering feeling. So in my case, it would have been betrayal. So if none of those things work and you've still got that lingering feeling, then you need to change it in a slightly different way. Because what that will be is something that's part of probably a pattern. So you can go and see someone about this. That's the sort of work that I used to do. Like I said, because I'm sort of so ill at the moment, I don't really see clients very often. Because I can't ever know when I'm going to be all right or not. So instead, I'm going to focus on making some more books for you, some more courses, and I'll give you some great techniques in those where you can actually know how to change your feeling. But here's a real quick one. Notice what that feeling is. So I said to you, mine was sort of like a brown feeling, kind of crawling in my stomach, like going, this is like betrayal, horrible feeling. Think about then something. A time when someone's really loyal to you, preferably if it's about betrayal to someone that's sitting with you, that was involved in the other incident. Now, again, if whatever the feeling was for you, whether it's betrayal, you think of the opposite feeling basically. So for me, that's loyalty. And I thought back to a time you've been very loyal to me, and I felt what that felt like in my body. And again, it's about being aware of your body and being mindful of how feelings feel within you. Now this feeling was more like a blue bar across the top of my shoulders, and it sort of was like shaded, so it's sort of like darker blue there and then lighter blue going down, just like a sort of bar. Quite a freeing feeling actually, someone being loyal to you, just having your back. why mindfulness is really important, because if you don't sort of practice it, you can't know what these feelings feel like, and you can't sort of change them. But this is one for the moment. So what I did, you swap the feelings over. So you just start with making that brown feeling into that blue feeling. So you change the colour of it. So what I did, I sort of had it crawling up me, sort of going bluer and bluer. So it's blue at the top and then sort of fading out a bit down the bottom, crawling up and then becoming a nice bar across my shoulders. And that immediately made me feel so more relaxed, so much better. And guess what? No craving anymore. No craving at all. No bad feelings. So you can change your feelings in the moment by doing that. So just replacing the sort of components of the feeling within your body with the components of the opposite feeling. That's a really good one as well. Like I said, if you notice this coming up as a pattern a lot and you can't seem to shake it just by doing a one-time thing, what you'll need to do is work through it and see why that pattern is there. Because usually if we have a pattern that repeats itself and it's not linked to anything in particular about addiction, but more to events that we've been through, because addiction is made up of a period of sustained taking of a substance that then gets you addicted. But usually this only sort of happens and cements itself when there are difficult events behind it. The more adverse experiences you go through in life, particularly when you're younger, the more likely you are to develop an addiction. So there will be a lot of little things maybe, or maybe one big thing, which has caused you to have that kind of pattern of feeling betrayed all the time. So, I mean, I don't have that, but I just happened to that time because of everything. But if it's something that shows up a lot of the time, you're going to get cravings a lot of the time, or just bad feelings a lot of the time. So that's something you need to actually work on, either face-to-face or using a resource like a book or a video, hopefully which I'll be creating for you soon. So in the meantime, the steps are really, basically, fess up to your craving to someone, make sure someone knows about it, someone you trust, so that you're not going to drink on it. Do your mindful inquiry. Sit there noticing the feeling, pause, sit there noticing the feeling, and start sort of letting your mind just empty of all thoughts apart from what is causing this. And then it will come to you, more likely than not. Sometimes you might have to do it a few times or practice a bit more mindfulness, but that's the important step. Then again, run through it. You don't have to go through the thing of telling someone else about what exactly your mindful inquiry found out. But if you do tell them, then like I said, make sure you tell them it's not about a judgment thing. It's not. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong here. I'm just telling you because I don't want to cave into this urge to use, because I don't want that to happen. So really important. And then, like I said, you can either sit with it, change it through distraction, soothing, or doing something just to make the moment better, or you can change it using my sort of quick NLP technique, or you can, if it's a recurring pattern, go to find some resources that can actually change it for good. Okay? Nice speaking to you. In the meantime, please check out my books if you haven't already. The Recovery Formula, An Addict's Guide to Getting Clean and Sober, and The Happy Addict, How to Be Happy in Recovery from Addiction and, Alcoholism and Drug Addiction. There you go. I forgot the name of my book. Told you I was ill. Memory goes sometimes as well. Anyway, I'll stick the links to my books on Amazon below, and I will speak to you again hopefully a bit sooner than I've left it a long time.